After having lit three very bright lamps, I have very little to say. In fact, problem with me is I'm not a great prayer man. I hardly do prayer in particular sense of the meaning. And how should I say? What Father Robin said, I agree fully that there is temptation, there is wish, and the particular wish is wish for eternity. Wish for eternity is eternal wish, isn't it? So, for Buddhism, according to Buddhism, the prayer is expression of wish. Whatever wish that is, expression either, as I said yesterday, through three doors, either physical way or verbal or mentally. That is expression of your inner wish. And Sanskrit word for prayer, I think, is pranidhana. That is making your wish known to others. And Tibetan word, the exact translation of pranidhana is mernam. Mernam is the translation of pranidhana. And in English equivalent, roughly, more or less, around, is prayer. Because I don't know any other word for that. Expressing your wish is prayer. And in this context, basically something positive. Something positive. If the wish is to destroy your enemy, that will not be called prayer, because those people, they don't make any prayer. But anything positive, either a good, something goodness for yourself or for your community or larger, circle of humanity, or if you like, all the creatures, sentient beings. If you express a wish of wellness, well-being, goodness, good thoughts, heavenly happiness, whatever, that is the prayer in this context. Now, for Buddhism, for Buddhist, the prayer is prayer addressed to someone or not? That is a basic question, I think. You can express wish in many ways, anywhere. You can say, I wish so and so happens. I wish the weather is better, or I wish there is no electricity cut and all that. You can say that, but that is not prayer. Now, whether you are addressing a particular wish that is to do with spiritual context, whether it's addressed to someone or not, that is the question. And I was thinking, while sitting here listening to others, do Buddhists, when they do pranidhana or malam or prayer, do they address to someone? Yes and no, I think. Yes, because literally they invoke Buddhas, they invoke Bodhisattvas. Buddhas, you know. Buddha, according to Buddhism, especially, in Mahayana Buddhism, there are thousands of Buddhas. Not only the historical Buddha who lived in India, but thousands of Buddhas are there. Enlightened, fully enlightened beings are called Buddhas. So, those who are on the path to Buddha, on a special path, dedicated for attaining Buddhahood, the full enlightenment state, for the sake of all the sentients, they are called Bodhisattvas. So we invoke Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and we also invoke Devas, deities. They are not called, the God, Ishvara, is not used. The deities or devas, they are celestial beings, right? But they are not gods in the sense, They are not God, but they are helpers. They can help us. So we do address Buddhas, Bodhisattvas and Devas, and then express whatever wish we have. And that is prayer, I think. I just said that we invoke enlightened beings, but whether we should say we address these prayers to them or not, that I don't know. Maybe we can say we address. Another thing
you said yes and no, right? You said, are we praying to someone? You said yes and no. So now you gave the yes part. What's the no part?
No part is, okay, I'm coming to that. In Buddhism, the path, the practice, the procedure, according to Buddhist sutras, that is called Sutrayana. Then there is also Tantrayana in Buddhism, like Hindus, Tantrayana. In Buddhism, in Tantrayana, there are 4 divisions. 4 divisions. I don't want to create confusion by going through all these 4, but I'll mention the first. First is Kriya Tantra. The last one, and we say this is highest, is Anuttara Yoga Tantra. Now, in Kriya Yoga, we visualize a deity in front of you. The deity we visualize is not someone historical person. We visualize a deity like Avalokiteshvara or Vajrapani, then we address them and make prayer. We visualize. And these deities are not historical persons. They are, what are they? They are the personification of enlightened qualities. Okay? For example, Manjushri is the personification of wisdom. Or Lokiteshvara is the personification of compassion. Vajrapani is the personification of power, energy. Yes. So we do address because we visualize them in front of you. We visualize them in front of us and we express our wish. Okay? Now, I mentioned 4 levels of Tantra, skipping the 2 in the middle. The last one, Anuttara Yoga, we don't visualize. The main thing here, we sometimes visualize the deity in front, but that is not the main part, because at the end that also to be emerged to you. Main thing here is you visualize yourself as that deity. If I am practicing a yoga of Manjushri, I become Manjushri. I visualize myself Manjushri, but before that you have to visualize, you have to meditate on Shunyata. First, the emptiness. You empty everything, then visualize. Not that this physical body somehow becomes, transformed. No. First is to create the feeling and the atmosphere of complete emptiness. Then you visualize yourself as the deity. Then offering, prayer, whatever you do is doing to the deity, but to you, yourself. That's the main point. To yourself. Because the center is the main purpose is to transform or improve or make better, to make enlightened yourself. Not always asking outer forces to lead you, to transform you. So that is one difference. But the wish, whatever wish you express, that is I don't think there is any difference. When we do religious service, we wish only good things. Nobody makes prayer for destroying enemies. I don't think Bin Laden does.
We do.
You do?
We definitely do. In fact, the prayer that I read earlier included destroying evil from the world. Remember, as part of God's kingdom, is that evil should be
Wait a minute. Okay, I want you to speak a little bit more about that. But as a Buddhist, when you say this we do, what I understand is your enemy, and not the other side, outer, external enemy, but mainly inner enemy. That's what we Buddhists understand. I think Hindus say. The main enemy is inside. That is selfishness, ego, ego grasping. That is the main enemy. Then from that, Of course, there are, we can't say there is no enemy. There are enemies, many enemies. They are, in a way, projection of our inner enemy. That is what,
But protection is not the same that to destroy the enemy. To be protected from the enemy or to destroy your enemy, it's not the same.
Not the same?
Projection.
It's the same.
It's not the same. If you have to be protected by the enemy.
No, he said projection.
No, I said project.
Not protect, projection.
Project, yeah. Project, yeah, project. Protect and destroy is not same. Yeah, that's also another point. Yeah, we do pray that we are protected. Yes, but destroy physically the enemy, which is conventionally known as enemy, is a little bit different. I don't know what prayer we can mention. For example, the one you recited from booklet. What you recited from your brochure? That I have heard in many interfaith meetings. That's very beautiful. Yeah, that can easily be universal prayer. Then Sam, Asatoma, yes, it can be, universal prayer, because you are not saying, my God, this Shivaji or anything. You are expressing the best wish. That is prayer. And that's why yesterday I said this thing. This is I have chosen this because it does not address or does not invoke any divinity or anything. Just expressing, this one says,
May. May, it begins with may, right? That's the formula is may something happen rather than addressing someone.
Can you read it?
If it's in English, yeah.
By the force of this merit of mine, may all living beings, without an exception, abstain from all harmful acts and be engaged in righteous deeds at all times.
This is from Shanti Deva's Bodhisattva. So this can easily be a universal prayer.
In this brochure, we also were looking for Buddhist prayer that we could use. So maybe you can read this because you're Buddhist a little bit.
A little bit, yes. And then I want you to read, because my reading is slow and halting. This is a compilation of Buddhist
Daily Buddhist
devotions. It says devotions. It doesn't say prayer, but more or less. This is from the Theravada Buddhist tradition. Tibetans are Mahayana. A Theravada Buddhist tradition. I feel they are more organized and more standard. There are so many, but one sutra, short sutra I like is this one. It's called Jaya Mangala Gatha. Jaya Mangala Gatha, only 8 verses. So I don't think we need to read all this. I want you to read on my behalf the first 2 verses.
Is this your way of making me Buddhist?
Yes, converting you. It's better than making enemy.
You are making it
said before I wanted to be an instrument. I didn't know what I was getting into. Your instrument now, yeah. Creating 1,000 hands armed with weapons, Mara was seated on the trumpeting, ferocious elephant, Girimekhala. Him together with his army did the Lord of Sages subdue by means of generosity and other virtues. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine.
Is it clear?
Yeah. Half clear. More violent than Mara was the obstinate demon Alavaka, who battled with the Buddha throughout the night. Him did the Lord of Sages subdue by means of his patience and self-control. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. Let me read all 8 so we get the full feeling. I read quick. Nalagiri, the king elephant, highly intoxicated, was raging like a forest fire and was terrible as a thunderbolt. Sprinkling the waters of loving kindness, this ferocious beast did the Lord of Sages subdue. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. With lifted sword for a distance of 3 leagues did wicked Angulimala run. Him did the Lord of Sages subdue by his psychic powers. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. Her belly bound with faggots to simulate the bigness of pregnancy, Sinka, with harsh words, made foul accusation in the midst of an assemblage. Her did the Lord of Sages subdue by his serene and graceful bearing. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. Haughty Sachaka, who ignored truth, was like a banner of controversy, and his vision was blinded by his own disputations. Lighting the lamp of wisdom, him did the Lord of Sages subdue. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. The wise and powerful serpent Nandopalananda did the noble sage subdue by psychic powers through his disciple son Teramogalana. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine. And the last, no, not yet. The pure, radiant, majestic Brahma Baka, whose hand was grievously bitten by the snake of tenacious heresies, did the Lord of Sages cure with his medicine of wisdom. By the grace of this, may joyous victory be mine.
That's the last part, that one plus.
Then the one after the last. The wise one, who daily recites and earnestly remembers these 8 verses of joyous victory of the Buddha, will get rid of various misfortunes and gain the bliss of Nibbana.
Okay.
Now I should read from your book.
This is sharing religion, right? I read his Buddhist prayer, he reads my Buddhist prayer.
Yes. May all living beings be happy. May all living beings be free from ill will. May all living beings be free from oppression. May all living beings be free from trouble. May all living beings look after themselves with ease. May all living beings be free from all suffering and pain. May all living beings enjoy good fortune. May all share the blessings spring from good all have done. Thank you.
So for us, prayer is about surrender and abandon and love and praise and giving ourselves and gratitude. It's a lot more than just wish-making. And therefore, when you approach prayer, you offer a very, very narrow and specific definition because of this no prayer phenomenon. And consequently, when you try to address prayer, you can only relate to a very narrow aspect of what we consider prayer. Would you agree with that?
When Buddhist prayer, as I said before, we do invoke the blessings of enlightened beings. And we also make the wish of being instrument for good things. But we don't leave everything in his hand. So essentially it's wish making, and to enforce that wish making, you remember the qualities of the enlightened beings, their enlightened qualities are the inspiration for you. So you remember the enlightened beings' qualities and you invoke enlightened beings and you you ask them to help. To help means actually to enforce to make that wish making more forceful. We will say, successful and forceful. We express various wishes, like, may I be like you very soon, things like that.
Yeah. So what I learned from this.
What I said in conclusion, the main thing is we don't leave everything to the God's hand.